today is Wednesday, when I usually put up a Wellness Wednesday video if I take the time to film one and then upload it. Sometimes I do live videos like we are doing today because I did not make the time to sit down, film a video, and then do all of the things necessary to get that onto the internets. So here we are. So for anybody who is new, my name is Lindsey. I hope that was obvious when I said it's Lindsey. And here on my channel, I share a few what I eat in a day videos. Sometimes I share recipes that I have created or that others have created and that I am testing out. I share occasionally a grocery haul here and there. And then occasionally I like to do these wellness videos where I just kind of talk about my personal experience with health and wellness. And so if any of those things are interesting to you, I would love for you to consider my channel, like look around, see if it's stuff that you like, and consider subscribing if you feel so inclined. And if you are a returning viewer, I appreciate you being here. I've already got a couple of comments here in the live, and it's Neely. How are you? And Naz is here. Is it Naz or Naz? I struggle with that. And then No Carb Barb, hello. So today I just wanted to sort of talk about context. I love context so very much because it frames our perspectives and helps us to think about things in a way that might be more beneficial to the overall conversation. So, yeah, I have my Context Matters mug. I had this made back in 2020 when one of my close friends and I were really like hammering down on the fact that context always matters. So, Vivian Higgins, welcome. I thank you for having a notification on. Oh my word, Neely, you're sitting there editing your Wellness Wednesday video. It's a good time. So context, there are quite a few new subscribers here, which blesses my heart. So thank you so much for doing that. And I thought I would give everybody just a little bit of context about me, just kind of like a brief sort of status report, I suppose. I started my YouTube channel back in 2017 when I was pregnant with my third child. We have 3 daughters, and my husband and I have been married for 16 years. We have moved here, there, and everywhere across the country. And so we've seen a lot of the country. We have traveled abroad a bit, and we currently reside in Central Ohio, where we homeschool our children and follow a low-carb lifestyle that supports ketosis in my body. At least that's the goal. That is the goal. I started my first foray into health and wellness when I, was it 2012? 2012, I have always struggled with inflammation in my jaw, and in 2012 it got to be so bad that we thought that I had double ear infections all the time. So I had to go get that investigated. They suggested that I get my wisdom teeth pulled out because at that time I was 28 and I still had my wisdom teeth. I have a larger mouth than teeth to fill it situation there. Went to a regular dentist. They said, well, we can pull your wisdom teeth to see if that helps, but we think you need to go to a TMJ specialist. So upon going to a TMJ specialist, I learned that I did have a TMJ disorder that was officially diagnosed at that point. I always knew that there was a lot of stress on my jaw, but after a few different tests and things, we learned that I just didn't have enough cartilage in my body, and the cartilage in my jaw was terribly inflamed. So I went on a liquid diet at that point just to alleviate the tension and stress in my jaw because I knew I was going to be incapable of not talking. I had a 2-year-old or an almost 2-year-old at the time, and there was no way for me to just go mute for however long it took for the inflammation to go away. So the TMJ specialist told me either a liquid diet or no talking. And here are some heavy hitter anti-inflammatories that I couldn't take because I was still nursing my almost 2-year-old at the time. At that point, we were living in Arizona in a Navajo reservation, and the only grocery store we had was Bash's'. Love Bash's', but it was expensive and we made peanuts. So I learned quickly the things that I could make and make inexpensively to sort of manage the inflammation in my jaw while not blowing through our budget. I learned how to make Greek yogurt, and I would do it with the inner liner of my crock pot. My crock pot at the time, it even on the low setting or the keep warm setting, it was too hot. So it would kill all my cultures. So I would take my crock pot liner, wrap it in beach towels, and stick that in a cooler back in the day. And I would make everything from scratch that I possibly could, and then turn around and liquefy it so I didn't have to chew things. So I've been making homemade yogurt for more than for a decade now. So that was kind of my first foray into like, I can do things on my own from scratch. I grew up with my mom always making tons of things from scratch and also using store-bought, pre-done mixes and things like that. She had a healthy variety of both. So I was not intimidated by the kitchen or learning new processes. I have an engineering kind of a brain where I want to figure out how something works. And then I also like to see if I can do things a different way always. Like consistency in the different methodologies that I use or techniques that I use is not the name of my brain. I tend to do a whole lot more. Let me just see if this works. Let me just see if that works. Or if this technique works over here, what if I use it in this application instead? Which sometimes does drive my husband, God love him, a little bit crazy. He's like, why can't you just do the thing the same way every time and get consistent results? Typically my brain struggles to do that. So I just lost all trains of thought. Biscuits. So making the homemade yogurt, making things from scratch became sort of my hobby and passion. We then moved from Arizona to Wyoming, and while we were in Wyoming, I made new friends and fell pregnant with our second child. And I noticed a lot of teeth problems that I started having. I had a lot of sensitivity and a lot of pain in still on. Is here. Hi, Cindy. You are here. Brilliant. Teresa is here. Very cool. Yeah, is it still buffering? And hello. Can anybody let me know if it's still buffering? Oh my goodness. Bless it. So in Wyoming, I was pregnant with our second child, and the oral pain was terrible. The teeth awful. Okay, great. Thank you everybody for letting me know that I'm somewhat back. To eliminate my my Wi-Fi and just go off of cell service so that I don't know what happened. It felt like it got warm in here all of a sudden, but I did put my iodine drops in my coffee here, which that usually gives me a rock solid heat jolt, and I'm already warm natured to begin with. So, and none of my clocks went out, none of my ceiling fans turned off, so I don't know what the blip was, but thanks for hanging with me. So Wyoming, teeth hurt. So I start researching because I do enjoy that aspect of the interwebs quite a lot. And I learned a lot. Should I start a fresh live? Would that be a valuable use of my time to just step off and then step back on? We'll keep going for another few minutes. Oh, okay, thanks, Barb. Okay, so as I was researching, I found Weston A. Price Foundation, started learning about what Weston A. Price did and how he was trying to understand like the oral health, which clearly lined up with what I was struggling with. And that put me on to a Nourishing Traditions way of eating. I started buying wheat berries, sprouting them, drying them. I borrowed a friend's Vitamix to be able to grind them because at the time I did not have a blender. And I just got really into slow food, more traditional preparation methods. So not only did I do my own Greek yogurt, I did my own wheat berry sprouts. And by the way, it was difficult to take those fresh sprouts from like just barely sprouted little tiny wheat berries and actually let them dry out all the way because they were so tasty. Oh my word, they tasted like sugar in your mouth. Loved that at the time. I did kefir, I did kombucha, I did a whole host of things. I made my own ginger bug to be able to make my own sodas. I did a lot of things. And in that time frame, we moved from Wyoming down to Utah, lived down there for a while, and I learned a lot more stuff about sprouted grains and soaking and sourdough and all of those things. And I learned about Redmond with their real salt. Because we were in Lehigh, in the grocery stores, you could actually buy real salt, and it was so cool. And I started buying it because it was a local product, and I was really into that. I mean, I still kind of am. And I was buying their earth paste in the lemon flavor for my girls. Just because I got really big into the whole like bentonite clay, activated charcoal, essential oils, coconut oil, oil pulling, like the whole thing. I happily dove head first into all of those things. And I just got my newest order from Redmond, and I'm so excited because I invested in the 25-pound bag of salt. Hashtag love it. I was going through the smaller amounts very rapidly, and my hope is that this lasts us a year, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. So I got that, and because I was, placing an order, I decided I'm gonna regret this. I know it in my heart and in my soul and in my sternum and my guts. I know I'm going to regret this, but I did go ahead and order this chef's blend of their smoked salts. I didn't order all of them, I don't think. No, maybe I did. All I know is that I debated on ordering these because everybody says how much they absolutely love the smoked salts. And I struggle with that because the moment that I find something that I love that doesn't seem to stay in stock very long, it becomes a very big problem for me. And I am not interested in creating more problems than necessary. So I did go ahead and I ordered 3. I ordered hickory and cherry, and I know this one is Chef's Blend. Yes, so I ordered all 3 of them. They did not have the kit at the time. They had already sold out of those because I hemmed and hawed a little too long. So I did have to order them individually. And to be honest with you, like deep down in my heart of hearts, I really hope that I do not love these. True story. Because I don't want to have to keep them on hand. It's terrible. It's terrible. I don't know if anybody else does that too, but you're like, I'm gonna order this thing and I really hope I don't like it because then it'll prove to me that I don't need anything more. But I have much concern that I'm going to love these. Stop it, Neely. Salt. I'm borderline thinking like, what happens if Redmonds goes ahead and sells out of everything and then they're out of stock again for ages and ages? How can I get my husband to smoke things on the, like salt on the Traeger? Do we need to figure it out for ourselves? I mean, with 25 pounds of salt, I might be able to spare a small amount to try and smoke ourselves. We'll see. There's seasoned salt. Yes, I did get seasoned salt, garlic salt, onion salt, I think it was, and something else. I did get a kit of 4 of those a long while back. And I do like those. But to be honest with you, I make spog, salt, pepper, onion powder, and garlic for myself. That always is available to me. So I just like, I haven't purchased mayonnaise at a store in forever because I make it myself. And I love the fact that I can just like whip it up anytime I want to. I just struggle whenever I can't make something out of baseline ingredients for myself and I feel dependent on it. I struggle at the fact that I cannot make electrolyte mix the way that Redmonds or the way that Perfect Keto makes it and make it taste as good without like many ingredients. And so it's easier to just have that on hand, which kind of bugs my brain a little bit. So it's okay. It's okay. If I don't like it, you'd be concerned about my taste buds. Well, thank you, Sylvia. I just I don't want to get so like, you know, just like dependent on these things. Like I'm already dependent on the salt. I really am. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I just have fears because everybody loves it. And that means I'm gonna likely love it. And then I'm gonna wind up wanting to buy more, be slow to pull the trigger, and then wind up in a sellout situation where I can't get more. So it's okay. Moving forward. So we lived in Utah and we were using the real salt. We were using the lemon version of the earth paste. And then we moved up to Alaska where we did much and many more things. And that's where I first learned about Trim Healthy Mama. And I started using the singing canary. I thought I had adrenal issues. At the time, what I had was new mom fatigue, where I was not sleeping through the night. My oldest didn't start sleeping through the night till she was 3. And the day she turned 3 is the day that my second daughter was born. So there was never really any period of sleep from the time that I was at the end of my pregnancy with my first until my second was probably, she started sleeping through the night regularly when she was about 2.5. So she did a little bit better than the first. And then after my middle daughter was born and we finally got into the regular rhythm and routine, I was able to sleep better, see a huge impact in my health for the positive, for the better. And I started doing Trim Healthy Mama I learned about it in 2015, started using the Singing Canary then, which is just a drink, an all-day drink kind of a thing. And they do seem to push the concept that you need to be just like filling up on liquids so you're not filling up on food, which that strikes my brain as like incongruent, like with the body's responses, but far be it from me to tell them how to operate their methodology. And then 2015, we moved to Wisconsin, and that's when I started, in 2016, beginning of the year, I started Trim Healthy Mama. 3 weeks later, I realized I was only eating high fat, moderate protein, and low carb, and that was the only way that I felt good on that way of eating. Looked it up, figured out that that was keto, and that's basically where I have sat, minus my third pregnancy, where the only thing I could actually consume and not give back every single time that I ate was carbs. So I also went back to Trim Healthy Mama while I was nursing, but it was really not Trim Healthy Mama. It was really more of a carb cycling type thing with Trim Healthy Mama recipes. And that's also at the end of my pregnancy when I started my YouTube channel, started sharing things, and there's been a few different houses here on my YouTube channel because we actually moved from Wisconsin and into a different house here in the Ohio, and then we sold that house back in, oh no, we moved here first at the beginning of summer and then sold the other house. So we've been in this house for a short period of time. I have stuck pretty much keto, ketovore, high protein, moderate high fat, or the reverse, high fat, moderate-ish protein since we moved to Ohio. I tried to go back to Trim Healthy Mama a couple of times and I showed a couple of videos doing that. It did not go well for me. I have learned over the years, over the past large chunk of years, that eating a high fat, moderate protein way of eating, and when I say moderate, that fluctuates day to day. Some days I can't keep it down to 60 grams of protein a day. I physically cannot, but I can keep it under 100. So my moderate protein, sometimes it's 100 grams of protein, sometimes it's 130 grams. It's just kind of all over the place. So yeah, that's kind of a bit of context about where I've been in my health and wellness over the past decade. Took a while to get there, but we did it. I really enjoy sharing my experience here on YouTube. Everything that I do share is 100% my experience, and it's always descriptive rather than prescriptive. And I value highly, like the utmost highest valuation in my life is obviously God, second of all, my family. But when it comes to interacting with people, I value the fact that I am not going to tell you what to do. You are given the right to choose. You are given the options to choose. You have autonomy and authority over your own life. I have autonomy and authority over my life, and I respect everybody's right to choose for themselves what is best for them. And I watched the PhD Summit this past weekend, and the whole time, like I felt like there was no fresh information, but it was really a washing of information I already know. And I just reaffirmed the whole like N=1 that Nisha kept discussing. I really do try to just experiment on me. I might see somebody do something and say, that's cool, that's interesting, let's try that out, and try it out, decide if it works for me or not. And if it doesn't work for me, it doesn't work for me. I value highly the ability to make that decision for myself. And that's why I always say, like, if you are new here, check it out. And if it's right for you, great. And if you want to subscribe, great. But if you don't, I totally respect your ability to choose that and your right to choose that. And that's that. So, okay. That was a whole heap of context. I hope that it mattered. Just kidding. I have missed a couple of things. People commenting on the seasoned salt, the chef's blend, the smoked salts. I talked about that ad nauseum. Okay. Cindy, I should come. She's requesting that me and Neely come to Ketopalooza. That would be amazing. I don't know that I have any more travel in me for the remainder of the year. Recently, we just got back from Ireland and Sicily, and it is so nice sleeping in my own bed. I will say that. I talked a lot in one of my previous videos about numbers, and I do test my glucose and my ketones every single morning once. Now, in that numbers are hard video thing that I did, or the one that has the little graph, that one, I did choose to test my ketones and my glucose a couple of times that day. I prefer to have the consistent testing first thing in the morning and then just see what happens. I'm still in that phase of data collection, and I think that that's kind of like my life's sort of trajectory at this point, is just collect the data. If I notice things after a while, like if I find those patterns that seem to make sense to shift things, then I do. But I also don't want to make rash changes at this stage of the game. I am very prone to being an extremist on all fronts, and I do not want to continue that cycle. And I do think that as humans, we tend to be very, very cyclical. You tend to have like that high point in your cycles of health and wellness, and everything is going great. And then you start to get complacent, and then you come down until you fall down to the bottom of the Ferris wheel, more or less. And you just kind of hang there for a little bit until you realize, like, I need to make a change. And then you start to click back up to a state of health. And then it just keeps going around the hamster wheel of health almost. And, knowing that about myself, I don't want to make changes that are unsustainable. So there's all that. I don't know what else to say. Oh man, Neely. Okay, all right, Neely has made a motion to open the smoked salts, smell it, and see what my reaction is. Okay. I consider your motion, and I will accept your challenge here, but I don't know which one to try. Cindy says yes. Barb says go. Wait, should we just do all three? I feel like if one is good, then all are better, right? Okay, we're gonna, all three. Cindy is on board. I like your style, Cindy. Okay, so presently we have hickory and we've peeled the lid. I have coffee. Brilliant. I can cleanse the orofactory. Is that the right word? Nah. Okay. Hickory. Now that smells like Texas. Mmm. That is not bad. I feel like I need some meat to put that on. Ooh, I am cooking a London broil this week. Olfactory. Thank you. Thank you. Are we there yet? Ooh. Mmm. Gotta cleanse the palate with the coffee, right? I used to work at Dillard's in college, and I worked in the accessories, fragrance, cosmetics department. Those are actually like multiple departments, but it was all kind of in the same zone. And we had sachets of coffee beans everywhere. I loved smelling those. Okay, next up, we have cherry. So I like hickory. Hickory reminds me of home. Actually, mesquite. Mesquite. We shall petition for mesquite next. Okay. So we have cherry. Yes, cherry. Okay. Okay, I think I like hickory better. Mmm. That one's pretty tasty. But I think I like hickory better. At least at this moment. We have to try them all on steak at some point in order to really sort it all out. Coffee. I do want to see mesquite though. Like, I think that would be home in a bottle for sure. In case you're not familiar, I am from Texas. All right, we have Chef's Blend. I don't know if it has mesquite in it. I'm not seeing, red Adler, all, bleh, 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 bleh. Okay. Western red alder is what they are calling for in the Chef's Blend. Okay. Oh, big bag is tumping over. Sylvia, you're with me on the mesquite. You'd buy it by the pound. So I think Chef's Blend and then hickory and then cherry are probably the order in which I would rank these. 2 seconds. Yes, you can, baby. You're welcome. The almost 5-year-old made requests. It's not time for a snack yet. Can you go be down with your girls? Love you. Nope, not FaceTiming. Go downstairs. Love you. All right. These are delightful on their own. We're going to petition Redmonds for a mesquite flavor because I need a little Texas in my life. And I'm excited to try these on some actual food because I do think that the flavors will probably be enhanced when you actually add it to food. I mean, and based on the way that everybody that I watch talks about these salts, I'm guaranteed that they are delightful and delicious and amazing. So we are going to be cooking up some London broil this week, and I might have to take a little bit of one of those, decide which one, and put that on my London broil. Yeah. Okay, Barb wants mesquite for sure too. Okay.
Also, I have to be somewhere else harder to not the schoolroom.
Oh, that's fine. You can sit on one of those chairs or the big couch.
Which
How about you go sit on that pattern chair?
Pattern chair.
That's the one.
Oh, the pattern chair is this one?
Yep. Okay.
Oopsie.
Let me tell you, I have a 5-year-old without telling you I have a 5-year-old. Okay. That's really the long and the short of it. Wanted to share context with you. Oh, okay. So the numbers thing, my numbers are improving every day a little bit more. Today, my glucose upon waking, she is adorable, Cindy. It's really unfortunate. It's really sad because she knows she's adorable and she tries to, see what I mean? She tries to wield that sword to manipulate all the peoples. It is not cute. I need you to stay focused on what your task is there, ma'am.
So are you talking about me?
Also, I'm not. Nope.
Wait, was I little one?
Shh. It's Mama's turn to talk, baby. Okay. All right. Nope. I'm not looking at that, babe.
Is there nail polish on here?
Okay. I think we've hit the limit on what I'm able to do here, except to tell you that my numbers are improving, my ketones are coming up, my blood glucose upon waking is coming back down. It was below 100, it was at 96 this morning, and I do take my glucose number like immediately upon waking. I mean, I literally wake up, go to the bathroom, and then take my numbers. It's a 3-minute from the time that my eyes pop open until I'm actually taking my numbers, because I do care about that dawn phenomenon. I do want to see that, and I don't want to excuse that away. I think that that's, a bit of data that, I mean, and that's what I'm interested in. And ultimately, when anybody takes their information, they take their numbers, it's because they're interested in what they're interested in. Barb, you are not taking your numbers at 3 a.m. I mean, it's a choice. Why on earth are you up at 3 a.m.? If I woke up at 3 a.m., I would probably take my numbers. Just I would want to see how that goes. Yes. Okay. So we've learned a few things. Number 1, we are petitioning Redmond for a mesquite smoked salt. Number 2, I have a 5-year-old without telling you I have a 5-year-old. Number 3, we are jazzed about these guys. And number 4, my numbers are improving. You've done it. A chronic insomniac. Ugh, that is a difficult place to be. I too struggle to stay asleep. And that has been a skill set that I've had to work on. And I tell you what, the iodine stuff has really helped me personally. And I just tend to have a smaller sleep requirement. I've never been one to sleep in the mornings. I've never been one to lay in bed in the mornings. And my husband, he is more of a slow to wake kind of a person. Like, he likes to wake up, he likes to just kind of think about his day before he rolls out of bed, whereas I am like a jack in the box. I'm like, boom, we're out of bed, let's go, hit the ground running. And I mean, I was like that even when I was a sleep deprived nursing mom. I could not stand laying in bed if I wasn't actively sleeping. Like, that's just, my brain compartmentalizes those things. The bed is not a spot to relax. The bed is a spot to go to sleep. So, all right, we've learned much and many things. I hope to see y'all in my next video.